5 ways to handle people who don't respect you. Have you ever had someone look you dead in the eye and make you feel small? Maybe it was your boss who cut you off mid-sentence in a meeting, or that one relative who always makes a joke at your expense. Maybe it was your partner rolling their eyes, or a so-called friend mocking your dreams. In that moment, your chest tightens, your face gets hot, and you feel that old urge to either lash out or shrink back. Now, here's the truth. The world is full of people who don't respect you. And if you've ever felt disrespected, whether at work, at home, or even online, you already know how fast it can mess with your peace of mind. But what if I told you the most powerful response isn't anger, and it isn't revenge? It's something the Stoics mastered over 2,000 years ago, something that flips disrespect upside down and puts the power back in your hands. Last year, my own boss laughed at me in front of the entire team. The old me would have defended myself, argued, maybe even lost my cool. But instead, I ran a silent Stoic experiment. I didn't fight. I didn't explain. I didn't beg. And by the end of the week, the same boss who mocked me was asking for my notes. That's when it hit me. Respect isn't given, it's commanded. Not by shouting louder, but by mastering yourself. And today, I'm going to give you 5 Stoic ways to handle people who don't respect you. Practical, powerful, step-by-step tools that you can use starting today. No gimmicks, no philosophy lectures, just strategies you can put to work the next time someone crosses the line. So, if you've ever been tired of being underestimated, talked over, or made to feel less than you are, stay with me. Because once you learn these 5 tools, disrespect will never have the same power over you again. The setup. We all know that sting. The sarcastic friend who throws a jab and then says, "Relax, I'm just kidding." The coworker who pretends to forget your name in front of everyone again. The family member who asks, "So, why are you still single?" with that little smirk that cuts deeper than they realize. It doesn't matter if it happens in the office, at the dinner table, or scrolling through your phone at midnight when someone drops a passive-aggressive comment. Disrespect has a way of crawling under your skin. And here's the trap. Most of us either explode or fold. We snap back with anger, which only fuels the drama, or we go quiet and swallow it down, which slowly poisons us from the inside. But Stoicism offers a third way. It's not about being a doormat, and it's not about being a tyrant. It's about mastering the only thing you can truly control: your own mind, your own reaction. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced betrayal, insults, and constant criticism, wrote this in his journal. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the Stoic ace card. You don't get to decide whether other people will respect you, but you get to decide every single time whether their words will own you or bounce off you. And I'll be honest, this isn't theory for me. I've tested these tools in the fire of real life. I've sat in rooms where laughter was directed at me, where my ideas were dismissed, where my character was questioned, and every time I had a choice: play their game or play the Stoic game. One drains you, the other makes you untouchable. Over the next few minutes, I'm handing you the exact 5 techniques I stress-tested. Tools that helped me walk out of the same meetings, the same arguments, the same conversations, not weaker, not resentful, but stronger, calmer, and unshakably in control. This isn't about tricks. This is about training. Just like you train your muscles in the gym, you train your responses in life. Every encounter with disrespect is a rep for your character. And once you get this, once you learn how to practice Stoic calm in the face of disrespect, something incredible happens. You stop craving their approval altogether. You stop needing their validation, like oxygen. You start breathing on your own. So here's what we're going to do. I'll walk you through 5 Stoic secrets. Each one is simple enough to try today, powerful enough to change the balance of power instantly, and timeless enough to still be relevant 2,000 years later. By the end, you'll walk away with not just ideas, but with armor. Because disrespect isn't a verdict on your worth, it's a test of your boundaries. And after today, you'll be ready to pass that test with calm, steady strength. Secret 1. The silent stare. Epictetus once said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Think about that for a second. If someone can pull your strings with a single sarcastic comment, they own you. They're the puppeteer, and you're the puppet. The fastest way to cut those strings: give them nothing. No reaction, no anger, not even a nervous laugh. That's the power of the silent stare. I still remember the first time I used it. My boss cracked a joke at my expense during a meeting. In the past, I would have tried to defend myself, maybe even laughed along just to keep the peace. But this time, I locked eyes with him. My jaw relaxed, my breathing slowed, and I let 3 full seconds of silence stretch across the room. No smile, no frown, just calm, steady presence. You could feel the shift. The laughter died down. He coughed, glanced away, and changed the subject. 2 days later, he circled back and apologized. Not because I demanded it, but because silence made him feel the weight of his own words. Neuroscientists call this cognitive load transfer. When you don't react, the other person's brain has to work overtime to interpret your stillness. That pause becomes a mirror, and suddenly, they're the ones feeling uncomfortable, not you. Here's how you try it. Next time someone cuts you off or throws shade your way. 1. Stop talking mid-sentence. 2. Take 1 slow breath. 3. Lock eyes and hold silence for 3 seconds. Don't glare, don't smirk, don't play it like a threat. Just let your calm presence hang in the air like a weight they can't ignore. It feels strange the first time. Your body will want to fidget, to fill the silence with words. But if you can hold it, if you can sit in that quiet pocket of power, you'll feel the ground shift under your feet. I once tried this with a friend who loved making jokes about my work ethic. Normally I'd fire back with my own jab. This time, I just looked at him, silent, expressionless. After a few seconds, he laughed awkwardly, said, "You know I'm kidding," and dropped it. For the rest of the night, he didn't take a single shot at me. That's the magic of the silent stare. It flips the dynamic. They expect a reaction, anger, defense, embarrassment. What they get is presence, and presence is powerful. It tells them, without a single word, "I am not playing your game. You don't control me." Remember this. Sometimes the loudest response is no response at all. 2. Embrace strategic silence. Silence isn't weakness. Silence isn't surrender. In Stoicism, silence is strategy. It's choosing not to hand your peace over on a silver platter. See, most of us are addicted to explaining ourselves. Someone criticizes us, and instantly we start defending, justifying, clarifying. We think we're protecting our reputation, but really we're feeding the fire. Every word becomes fuel for more arguments, more drama, more disrespect. The Stoics had a word for this: wasted energy. Epictetus reminded his students, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. And every time we rush to explain, we're giving our opinion, our judgment, our energy straight into the hands of someone who doesn't deserve it. Let me give you an example. A few years back, I had a roommate who loved to nitpick. If I cooked at night, he'd complain about the smell. If I came home late, he'd sigh loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Old me would have launched into a TED talk. "Look, I've got a crazy work schedule. I need the protein. "I'll clean up after, don't worry." And every time, the argument would spiral. Then one night, he made the same comment. "Typical, you never listen." And instead of explaining, I did something radical. I said nothing. I just kept chopping onions, plated my food, and walked out of the kitchen. Guess what happened? By day 3, the complaints dried up. By the end of the week, he was asking if he could join me for dinner. That's the power of strategic silence. It starves drama. It suffocates the game of back and forth. It tells the other person, "I value my peace more than your opinion." Here's how you can practice it. Next time someone throws a jab, just nod once. Don't explain. Don't defend. Don't overtalk. If you need to, remove yourself physically from the conversation. It feels uncomfortable at first, especially if you've built your identity on always being reasonable or polite. But silence isn't rude. It's selective. It's saying, "I don't invest energy where it earns me nothing." I used to believe that silence meant losing, that if I didn't clap back, I was letting them win. But here's what I learned. Silence isn't losing, it's refusing to play. And that's the ultimate win. Because when you stop explaining, something amazing happens. You stop seeking their approval altogether. You no longer need them to understand you. And the moment you stop needing their understanding, you become untouchable. Remember this: explanations invite debate. Silence closes the door. Secret 3. Stop explaining your choices. Seneca once wrote, "He who seeks to please the crowd must soon become the crowd." Translation: if you spend your life justifying every move, you'll lose yourself in the noise of everyone else's approval. Think about it. How many times have you bent over backwards, explaining a decision, only to realize the person questioning you never really cared about your answer? They didn't want to understand. They wanted control. I'll give you a personal story. Last year, I got invited to a destination wedding. The ticket alone was half my emergency fund. Old me would have whipped out my budget spreadsheet, explained my savings goals, my priorities, even my backup plan. I would have written a whole essay just to defend why I couldn't go. But this time, I simply replied, "I won't be attending. I hope it's a beautiful day for you." Period. No justification. No extra words. The response? My cousin fired back, "Wow, selfish much? Everyone else is making it work." And you know what I did? Nothing. I didn't reply. I didn't argue. And something powerful happened. I felt free. Free from the weight of proving myself. Free from the illusion that my choices needed a stamp of approval. Here's the truth. People who respect you will accept a boundary. People who don't, won't, no matter how many paragraphs you send. Every extra word you offer is just rope for them to tug on. So, here's the Stoic challenge. The next time someone demands an explanation, give a short, calm answer, 1 sentence, maximum. Then stop. Let silence carry the rest. When you do this, something inside you shifts. You stop living like your life is a courtroom and you're on trial. You stop treating every question like an interrogation. And slowly, you start to realize the only approval that matters is your own. I once had a friend who hated my career shift. "Why would you leave a stable job? That's crazy." In the past, I'd give them my 5-year plan, my market research, my passion speech. Now, I just say, "Because it feels right for me." Full stop. The conversation either ends there, or it reveals who really respects me. That's the point. You don't owe the world a PowerPoint on your life. You owe yourself peace. Remember, every time you explain, you hand over your authority. Every time you stand firm without justifying, you reclaim it. Your life isn't up for debate. It's your path, your choice, your peace. Secret 4. Keep your distance. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Sometimes that means not even being in the same room as them. Here's a truth most people avoid. Not everyone deserves front row seats to your life. Some people, no matter how much you explain, forgive, or hope, will keep showing you who they are. And your job is not to fix them. Your job is to protect your peace. I had a gym buddy once. At first, we pushed each other, motivated each other, but slowly it turned toxic. Every lift I did, he mocked. "Bro, my niece warms up with that weight." At first, I laughed it off. Then, I started dreading the gym. My sanctuary had become a battlefield. One morning, I made a decision. I switched gyms. No big speech, no dramatic goodbye, just distance. Instantly, the weight on my chest wasn't just the barbell, it was gone from my spirit too. That's what distance does. It creates breathing room. It reminds you that not every relationship needs to be dragged into the next chapter of your life. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, your mental fortress. A citadel isn't built in the middle of a storm, it's built behind strong walls. And sometimes those walls are boundaries that say, "You don't get access to me anymore." Here's how you practice it. Mute the group chat where every message is a jab. Decline the invitation to that gathering that always ends in subtle insults. Hit unfollow on the account that keeps taking shots at your life. Distance doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be quiet, subtle. You're not punishing them, you're protecting you. I used to believe cutting people out was selfish, but here's what I learned. Keeping toxic people close is what's selfish. Selfish to yourself. You betray your own peace every time you let them back in. Think about it. Every minute you spend with someone who disrespects you is a minute stolen from people who actually value you. Why keep investing in a stock that only ever goes down? Keeping your distance isn't cold, it's clarity. It's drawing a line and saying, "This is my energy, this is my life. You don't get to drain it anymore." And something beautiful happens when you create that space. You discover who actually deserves to be close. You realize your circle doesn't have to be big, it just has to be healthy. So remember, absence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Sometimes the loudest boundary you can set is your silence and your absence. Secret 5. Hold your head high. Your body speaks before your mouth ever does. Before you open your lips, people are already reading the slope of your shoulders, the tilt of your chin, the way you breathe. Disrespect often thrives in the smallest cracks of posture, slouched back, downward gaze, nervous shifting. It whispers, "I don't believe in myself, so maybe you shouldn't either." But when you hold your head high, everything changes. A Harvard study on power poses found that standing tall, shoulders back, chest open, chin level actually lowers cortisol, your stress hormone, and raises testosterone, your confidence hormone, in just 2 minutes. Science confirmed what the Stoics already knew. Your posture is not decoration, it's declaration. I learned this the hard way. After my boss mocked me in that meeting, my first instinct was to shrink, to let my spine curl forward and my voice fade out. But I remembered the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius never slouched through betrayal. Epictetus didn't hang his head while teaching freedom to men who still called him a slave. Seneca wrote wisdom while staring down death itself. So instead, I stood tall, shoulders back, slow breath, chin steady. And something miraculous happened. Not only did people treat me differently, I treated myself differently. The next time a client tried to haggle down my fee mid-project, I didn't flinch. I simply looked them in the eye and said, "That's not the agreement we signed." Calm, firm, unmoved. And they paid in full. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Arrogance screams, "I'm better than you." Confidence whispers, I'm at peace with myself. When you carry yourself like that, people notice. Even the ones who used to test your boundaries start to think twice. Here's how you put this into practice. Before a meeting, roll your shoulders back and plant your feet firmly. Walk into the room as if you belong there, because you do. If someone throws a disrespectful comment, breathe slow, keep your chest open, and respond only if it serves you. One of my mentors once told me, "Don't let your body apologize for your existence." And that line hit me like thunder. Too many of us walk through life half shrinking, half hoping not to be noticed, as if we're trespassers in our own story. But you're not. You're the author. And your posture is your signature on every page. So the next time someone tries to cut you down, remember this. Your head is not heavy, it's your crown. Hold it high, not because you need to prove anything, but because your worth was never up for negotiation in the first place. The turning point. By the end of that week, something had shifted. The same manager who cut me off in front of the team was now asking for my slide deck to align with your direction. The same co-workers who once laughed at his joke pulled me aside privately and said, "Hey, I respect how you handled that. And here's the thing, I didn't fight. I didn't argue. I didn't beg for respect. I practiced 5 small moves: the silent stare, strategic silence, the no explanation rule, distance, and walking tall. 5 moves that, on the surface, seem almost too simple. But when you add them together, they become a force. The Stoics had a word for the state I found myself in: apatheia. It doesn't mean apathy, like not caring. It means clear-minded freedom, an inner calm that no insult can hijack, no disrespect can uproot. Marcus Aurelius described it as building an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that no enemy can breach unless you open the gates yourself. And that's exactly what it felt like. A fortress. People still threw jabs. The world didn't magically turn respectful overnight, but their words hit differently. They landed on stone, not on skin. They bounced off instead of breaking through. That's when I realized the real win isn't getting people to respect you. The real win is learning that their disrespect doesn't define you. It doesn't dictate your mood, your self-worth, or your future. You take the sting out of their weapon the moment you refuse to hand them the power to wound you. Think about it. How many times in your life have you replayed an insult over and over, letting it rent space in your head for days, weeks, even years? What would your life feel like if you stopped doing that? If you walked away from every encounter lighter, not heavier? That's what the Stoics are offering, not a world free of disrespect, but a self free from its chains. And here's the part no one tells you. When you master this inner calm, people notice. Not because you demand their respect, but because you radiate something stronger than respect. You radiate self-respect. And people, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to that. They lean toward it. Some will test it, others will admire it, but all of them will feel it. I didn't gloat when my boss came back to me. I didn't post a victory dance online. I just smiled to myself, knowing that for the first time in a long time, I wasn't being ruled by someone else's words. I was free. That's the turning point. And that's the gift Stoicism gives you. Not the power to control others, but the power to control yourself. And when you do that, the whole game changes. Conclusion: your next move. Disrespect is not a verdict on your value. It's not proof that you're weak or that you don't matter. It's a pop quiz life throws at you, a test of whether you'll hand your peace over to someone else or guard it like the treasure it is. And now you've got 5 tools to ace that test. 1. The silent stare, showing power without a word. 2. Strategic silence, starving drama instead of feeding it. 3. The no explanation rule, remembering you don't owe anyone a slide deck on your life. 4. Distance, protecting your peace with space, not speeches. 5. Walking tall, carrying yourself like someone who knows their worth. These aren't tricks, they're reps. Every time you practice them, you strengthen your backbone. You reinforce your inner citadel. And slowly, the disrespect of others stops shaking you because you're no longer standing on shaky ground. So here's your next move. Pick the one tool that scares you the most, the one you know you've been avoiding, and try it today. Maybe it's holding silence when you'd normally explain yourself. Maybe it's sitting tall in a room where you usually shrink. Maybe it's muting the group chat that drains you. Whatever it is, commit to one rep. And when you do it, when you feel that shift, that moment where disrespect bounces off instead of breaking through, I want you to remind yourself, respect starts here, with me. Drop it in the comments. Respect is non-negotiable. Let the world know you're done handing your power away. And if this video gave you value, if it gave you even a spark of clarity, hit subscribe. Because every week we're diving into Stoic experiments like this, not just theory, but tools you can put to work in your everyday battles. The world will always be noisy. People will always test your boundaries. But remember this, the calmest mind is the sharpest weapon. And once you master your reaction, no one, not your boss, not your critics, not even your own doubts, can take that power from you. Respect doesn't begin with them, it begins with you. So hold your head high, guard your peace, and walk forward knowing this truth. You don't need their respect to be unshakable. You just need your own.